Hi, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Bree.
We're the PR team
Behind the Theatre Downstream.
For our 6th season, we wanted to get to know the people behind the characters. We wanted to get real. This week, we begin our interviews with members of the Sound of Music cast. We start at the very beginning. A very good place to, well, you know. Emma Faul joined me for a truly delightful discussion about her life and theater career, including why she cried for all the wrong reasons when her husband proposed, her rational and irrational fears, which may or may not involve someone jumping into a volcano and tooth loss, and what she thinks is the scariest and most exciting part about bringing Maria to life. If in 1 hour you are not absolutely in love with her, I hate to say it, but you might need to say so long farewell to your heart. Welcome to Getting Real.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Can you introduce yourself to everyone? What is your name and what character do you play?
So my name is Emma Faul, and I will be playing Maria in The Sound of Music.
Very exciting. You're our first interview for the Sound of Music cast.
Yay! Yes. Fun.
What is your day job and how long have you been there?
Well, I am a teacher. I teach 7th grade language arts at a school in Oldham County. I've been with them, this is my 4th year, but I've been teaching for 6 years.
And where were you before this?
My first year of teaching was in Miami, Florida.
Ooh, so are you from Miami?
No, I grew up in Oldham County for the most part. I'm kind of from all over, but have been in Kentucky since I was 8. And I got my degree here, and then my husband wanted to get his master's at UM. And so he proposed, and I moved with him. And
Nice.
so my first year of teaching was at a school in Miami, Florida, and then my second year was at a school in Homestead, Florida, which is about 45 minutes south of Miami, so really close to the Keys.
Ooh, I bet that was nice.
It was awesome. We had a favorite restaurant that we would go to on Friday nights in Key Largo, and it's like, oh, we're just going to a restaurant in Key Largo, just no big deal.
Just like Bogart and McCall.
Yeah.
So tell me a story from work then that you can. A funny story, touching story, just give me a work story.
Well, I had a group of girls who were of Cuban descent, Puerto Rican descent. I had a girl from Venezuela, and they just were in awe of, "You're from Kentucky? Oh my gosh." And I just really took them under my wing. And when we moved back to Kentucky, they cried and they were really upset. So I had them come over and help me pack over the summer. Their moms were awesome about it. They would drive them over, and I showed them one of my favorite movies growing up, and I said, "You girls remind me of these girls."
What movie was it?
Now and Then.
Oh, yes, I like that movie.
And so they still will call me and text me and say, "Oh, I'm watching Now and Then again. We miss you." So
you are able to keep up with them then?
yes. And then I have a former male student who he called me mom.
Oh.
And he always joked, "I'm your firstborn, even though you don't have kids yet." And I'm like, "Okay, son, okay." And then when I was pregnant with Benjamin, he emailed me, because I didn't give my phone numbers to boys or anything. That's
Sure,
weird.
yeah.
But he sent me an email and was like, "The teachers are saying you're pregnant. Now you're going to have your first real son.
Aww.
But don't ever forget about me." So my kids in Homestead really needed guidance. And so I felt really needed there. And that was awesome.
What did you want to be growing up?
I kind of always knew I was going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
My parents are teachers. But I also wanted to be a veterinarian. You know, the cliche Barbie veterinarian that everyone had with the cute little plastic cats and dogs.
Yes.
And I always loved animals. I still do. I think I told you that I prefer animals to people, which is so true.
I can understand that. I love my animal coworkers when I'm at home. They're very good. So would teaching be your dream job, or would the vet be your dream job?
Neither.
What would be your dream job?
That is a really good question.
That's what we do here. Ask really good questions.
This is so weird, but it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
I've always secretly wanted to be a soap opera actress. I mean,
do you memorize really well? No.
That's the one thing that's
holding you back.
Stressing me out about the show, Sound of Music, is memorizing.
Okay, well we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But what is it about the soap opera acting that appeals to you? The melodrama of it?
Yes, and I grew up watching Days of Our Lives with my grandma and my mom. I just was fascinated by the over-exaggerated acting and the love stories and triangles and squares. And I thought Stefano was like a real person, like evil Stefano. And I would put him in my stories in school. And so I was fascinated by that. And I thought, oh, these girls are so pretty. I want to be like them. And I thought anybody could be like that kind of actor, because you just
overact.
Yeah. I've never seen a good soap opera, to be honest. So what's in my mind is just the cheesy, overdramatic.
Yes.
But the other job I would love to have is on our farm. I would love to have an animal sanctuary.
Oh, what kind of animals?
Dogs and cats.
And they would just have free reign on the property, or what would be your plans?
Yeah, I would love to just have a huge fenced in area, and then a building with comfortable beds and everything like that for them.
We kind of already do have an animal sanctuary because Scotty is here, if everyone hears him. He is very happy tonight.
That's not me, like, heavily breathing. Although I do snore.
Do you?
Yes.
How do you know? Does your husband tell you?
My husband will like shake me when I'm too loud.
Oh no.
And, like, wake up. I think you're not breathing. I'm like, great. Do I have sleep apnea? Actually, funny story about cats and sleep apnea. When I was 6 years old, they actually did a sleep apnea test on me because my tonsils were enlarged. I had continuous strep, and so they thought I wasn't breathing at night. And so back in those days, they set up a camcorder and
just literally recorded you at night?
Recorded me sleeping. And what they found was we had a gray cat.
Was he sleeping on your face?
Yes. So the doctor watched the whole video, and we come in for the checkup, and he's just laughing. And he's like, you need to shut her door at night because your gray cat is sleeping on her chest and her face, and that is causing her to have difficulty breathing.
There you go. Just a big cat on your face. Do you have inside cats now?
So we had a cat named Sebi. He was hit by a car last November.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we haven't gotten another cat, but a couple days ago, another orange cat showed up at our door, and he's super friendly, and we're going to get him checked for a microchip because he has to be someone's, but he's so nice and sweet. And of course, we've been feeding him.
Because of course, you're a sanctuary.
And I'll have to show you the video of my son picking him up today. It was adorable.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, that leads into my next question, which is, tell me about your family.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
So I am married to Andre Faul, and he is an all-around awesome guy. He can figure out anything. He's very scientific, very mathematical, which is funny because I am the total opposite.
Well, that's why you attract. Opposites attract.
Yeah. But both of my parents are math teachers, so I don't know why I'm the way I am. I was good at math, but I just didn't like it.
Okay.
I like thinking outside of the box. I don't want one answer.
Right.
But anyway, he can teach himself how to do anything. He's built decks. He's built a lot of different things, and his newest endeavor is building a huge barn to hold 9 saltwater fish tanks for your face right now.
What are you going to do with them?
Well, you know, like any other farmer in Kentucky, he's going to raise saltwater shrimp in them.
Okay.
Yeah, and he already built 2 huge tanks in one barn, but he is just expanding the business.
Has he been, or have you all been to Disney World, the Living with the Land ride?
Yep.
Is that what he's thinking of doing?
Yeah, I mean, he has studied hydroponics and aquaponics and all that fun ponic stuff. And I don't really think he's going to do the vegetables with it.
Okay.
Maybe in the long run, but I think he's just going to start with shrimp. So he did not know he was going to be a farmer.
Okay.
But when he was studying marine biology at UM, he was kind of thinking about going into conservation. But then when he started taking classes, he was like, I love fisheries management. And I'm like, what an odd
Thing to love.
But okay. So he got a job down there at a fish farm, and he ran the hatchery, which is basically baby fish.
That'd be kind of fun.
I know. And he got so attached because he is an animal lover like me. Despite being super scientific, mathematical, he's very warm and fuzzy when it comes to animals too. So if I ever want a pet, he doesn't say no. So
That's
I always
very
get
sweet.
my way.
Well, how did you guys meet? Well, how did you meet, and then how did you know that he was the one?
Oh.
I'm kind of going with the whole Sound of Music theme, you know?
Yeah. Well, his family is from South Africa, and they moved here in the year 2000. But we went to different schools. We went to rival schools. I went to OC, and he went to South Oldham.
Okay.
So we never crossed paths until I was about to leave for college. I was nannying his next door neighbor, who was a family friend growing up. I met this little boy when he was a baby, and I would hold him and rock him. And then when he was 6, that's when I was his nanny over the summer. And Andre lived next door, and he'd come home from a painting job he had, and he'd go in the yard and like kick his rugby ball around and look over like, do they notice me? And I'm like, ooh boy, yeah, I notice you. So, but the little boy.
How old were you when this was happening?
I was 18.
Okay.
And he was almost 19.
Okay.
We're 6 months apart, exactly. The little boy named Jaron, he had one of those little boy crushes on me. He carried around my senior picture in his Velcro like Cars wallet.
Yeah.
And he was so jealous. He was like, you don't need to go talk to him. Let's go play inside.
How old was the little guy?
He's 6.
Oh.
He was 6. Oh my gosh. He's 18 now, and it freaks me out.
I bet.
I'm like, I held you as a baby.
I bet. Yeah, there's a kid that I'm friends with on Facebook. I won't say his name, but when I remember holding him when he was a child, and now he is grown, married, and has a child of his own. And that makes me feel so old.
We joked that I was the girl next door. And I went off to college at NKU, and we did a long distance thing for 2 years, even though long distance, an hour. When you're 18, it feels
very long distance.
Halfway across the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he would come visit me every other weekend. I'd come home every other weekend. And eventually, with the recession and stuff, I ended up moving back home, and I transferred to U of L, and he was going to U of L as well. So that's where we started dating, and then we got married in 2014.
Well, then how did you know that he was the guy?
Oh, yes, I forgot that part. To be honest, I think it was the first night I met him.
Really?
So we never met all summer. It took the end of summer when Jaron's parents got home, and they called Andre over, and they said, you need to meet our babysitter. And I was like, gee, guys, you never thought of this earlier? Would have been nice to start this summer romance in June, but okay. About to leave for college. And he came over, and I think this is what really stood out to me, unlike your stereotypical high schooler boy in America. He reached his hand out and was like, hi, I'm Andre. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, you're shaking my hand? Like, okay. And I just thought that was a kind, unique gesture that I wasn't used to in high school. So I think really that was the pivotal moment where I was like, this guy's different. And then, of course, when your parents love him, that's a huge sign. My dad never liked anyone I dated. Granted, I didn't date the 4.0 GPA types. I dated the bad boys.
Of course.
And Andre was not a bad boy. I was the quote-unquote bad girl that, he calmed me down a lot.
Okay.
I know. You would never think that,
I would
right?
not have thought that, no. I would not have thought the bad girl would grow up to play Maria.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm playing a nun, you guys. Well, she never became a nun, so...
That's right. She didn't make it. Let's see. And you have a baby.
Yes, little Benjamin Wade. So he is 2 as of June, and he is... Sorry, Andre, I say this. He's the love of my life. But Andre knows that.
Yes.
They both are.
Well, I want to ask this. I meant to ask this earlier. So how did this perfect, not like every other guy, propose?
Oh, that's a great story. I cried for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he made me hike a mountain.
Climb every mountain, did you?
I did. I forged every stream. We took a 2-week road trip out to Yellowstone National Park, and I had an idea. And
so you'd been dating like 2 years at this point?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So that was 2013 when he proposed. So 6 years.
Oh, okay. A while.
Yeah, and we went to Yellowstone National Park, and he's like, hey, let's go for a hike tomorrow. And back in 2013, I was a little more fit, and I was like, okay. But I definitely was not as fit as this mountain. And we're going up, and I have a horrible knee. It's a genetic thing, and my knee starts hurting. I get a low blood sugar. I'm type 1 diabetic, so luckily he was smart and packed a bunch of granola bars and things. So we're sitting on a log getting my blood sugar up. I probably have chocolate in my teeth, like really cute. And this old couple, like probably in their 80s, like stormed past us hiking. And I just started bawling and going, I can't even go. And the 80-year-olds are going so fast. And he's like, shh, shh. Meanwhile, I didn't know at the time that he was going to propose then. So he's probably thinking, oh my gosh, she's so dramatic. Am I really going to do this? And I'm like, okay, I can go. And the mountain was... He wanted to get up to 10,000 feet to propose. We made it to 9,000. I sat on this rugged log bench, and I was like, Andre, I can't go anymore. I can't. I'm sorry.
I'm done.
We need to go back down because my knee is killing me. My blood sugar is like up, down, up, down. And I'm depressed because those 80-year-olds passed us. And he's like, okay, so...
So what made him go ahead with it? Because it seems like all signs are pointing to maybe you should wait till you get to the bottom.
Because he's a dude, that's why. And it was a good view, even from 9,000 feet. Like, it was gorgeous. And so, he told me to face out towards the view, and I was like, okay. And then he got the ring out of the backpack, and he proposed. And... This is the other thing that made me cry. It was too small for my finger.
No. Had your finger swollen because of the hike?
Oh, no.
No.
It's just, I guess he didn't know what size to get, and he didn't ask anyone because he didn't want to give it away. Because, my mom would have probably been like, what size ring do you wear? And I'm like, what? Really? I don't know. So I wore it on my pinky on the hike down. And I, sent pictures of it to family members on my pinky. And they're like, what are you doing? It goes on the ring finger. I'm like, it's too small, but I want to wear it. So then when we got back, we had it resized and all that good stuff.
That's very sweet. Do you have any other hobbies or hidden talents besides theater?
Well, I like to say that I'm an artist.
Oh, yeah.
I love to paint. I really love to sketch, though. I love graphite, just... sketches of realistic things. I love sketching animals, anything like that, anything in nature. I wish I had more time for it because you could even ask Andre, when I am drawing or painting, that's when I'm the happiest.
When you're at most at peace?
Yeah, and I don't know why I don't make more time for it, but...
That's what happens a lot. I feel like a lot of times people will end up putting to the side the thing that makes them the most happy, and they'll spend all their time dedicating all their time to things that just make them feel stressed.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's a shame.
But I will tell you, every Friday in my class, we do Free Write Friday. And the kids absolutely love it. They're like, finally, we can write whatever we want to write. And I tell them, at the beginning of the year, a lot of them just sit there with their pencil, I don't know. So I give them prompts and stuff that they can choose from. But if they really have no idea where to start, I say, make a list. Just do a bulleted list. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct or anything. Just write. I just want to see your pencil moving. And then it's really cool to see them develop and get ideas from their list then. And they could write a story. They could do an informational piece. Someone did an informational piece on Tickle Me Elmo.
Wow.
And how he became popular in the 90s. And I was cracking up.
That is funny.
But that's my time because I do it with them because I like to model it. And that is my time to do creative writing.
Ooh.
And so I have a journal that I keep for Free Write Fridays.
That's really
neat.
neat.
So that's another hobby, I guess.
You know what would be fun is at the end of the year if you published them.
Oh, we kind of do. We have a blog.
Okay.
Where we put our favorites on there.
Okay. Because with Amazon, I don't know if CreateSpace still does this, but you could actually put it in a book for them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Maybe a good fundraiser for the school, too, or for your class.
Yeah, that's
because they could buy them, They could buy actual copies, and that would make them feel really good, like you're in a book.
Exactly.
That's my advice. My 2 cents. What is something that people may not know about you? Diabetes would be one thing. That's something that not a lot of people may know.
The only reason people know is because I wear an insulin pump. But I've had people approach me in public and ask about it. One time at Cracker Barrel, you know the little butter packets and the jelly packets
Oh,
you
did
get
they
at
think it
Cracker
was
Barrel?
stuck to your arm?
Yes.
Oh,
This little girl came up and was like, ma'am, you have a butter packet on your arm? And I'm like, oh, bless your heart.
no. That's really sweet.
And it also looks like the battery pack of an Xbox controller.
Oh.
So a little boy once asked me, like, why is your Xbox controller on your arm? So I get funny comments about it. But something that people don't know about me, oh my goodness, there's so much. This is so random, and I'm just going to share it because who cares? I mean, my students know this about me because of one of our free rights. I have a phobia of pregnant women.
You're scared of them?
It's all because of Aliens 3. I think it was the third one. When I was little, my parents were watching it, and Sigourney Weaver had been implanted with an alien baby.
Well, that would be terrifying, yes.
And spoiler alert, she dives into lava to kill it. I don't remember because I refuse to watch that movie now because it scared me when I was a kid, even though I love scary movies.
Yeah.
And Sigourney Weaver had what I like to call a torpedo belly.
Oh, it's like super pointy.
It's like pointy pregnant bellies.
Yeah, yeah.
And so my best friends all knew that about me. So the whole time I was pregnant with Benny,
I was going to ask, how did you feel when you were pregnant?
I was so scared that I was going to get a torpedo belly like Sigourney Weaver.
Did you?
No, it was very round. It was
good.
very large, but it was rounded out. And I'm like, thank goodness. And I would ask them, guys, is it torpedoing? And then I had a pregnant teacher in 8th grade. And she torpedoed, and I was like, oh, aliens are going to come out. She's going to jump in lava. It's so irrational.
That's what fears are, is irrational.
Exactly. I also have a fear of losing teeth.
Oh, that's a good one, though.
And
that's that's rational. That's not irrational.
Is it irrational?
I'm not sure. Because they're not coming back.
I'm not scared of falling and breaking an arm. I'm scared of falling and busting a tooth out.
Yes.
It's so scary to me. Ooh. Which kind of leads to the fear of the dentist a little bit. But I think I've grown out of that a little bit. I may or may not have to take a shot of bourbon before I go to the dentist. So I just hope they don't ever call anyone and say, she has smell on her breath. But my husband will take me to the dentist if I do that.
That's funny. Okay, we're going to transition into theater basics. What is your acting origin story?
So I'm more of a choir person, to be honest. I did the typical church plays growing up, but it wasn't until high school that I gained the courage to try out for our musical Kiss Me Kate when I was a senior. And it was pressure from my choir teacher, who is...
All the best choir teachers pressure you.
And she is still such a huge influence to me and my interests, and I owe so much to both my middle and high school choir teachers. So shout out to Miss Hampton and Miss Wright, if you ever hear this. Miss Wright talked me into auditioning, and I did.
Miss Wright was right.
Yes, exactly. And I got the understudy part for Lois Lane. And I'm like, gee, is this typecasting? Because we all know I was the bad girl in high school. And what they did was, my best friend at the time was Lois Lane. And they were like, we just love both of you all. We want you both to have a performance. So I had the Sunday performance on my birthday as Lois Lane.
Fun.
Yeah, so even though I was her understudy, I still had my own performance. I still look back, it is a blur to me. And that was only 12 years ago. But I think I was just so nervous. It was all a blur. I don't even know. I think I just rushed to get it done.
Did you have any practice as the understudy, or did you just have to observe? Okay, good.
Yes, we did.
That's really good.
But it was so overwhelming and scary, because I think another thing that people may not know about me is that I am very insecure.
A lot of us are.
Yeah.
A lot of us are.
So But I think
I think you have two types in theater. You have those that are supremely insecure, and then those who are overly secure.
Yeah.
So very rarely do we have that middle of the road,
Yeah.
secure but not egotistical person.
Yeah. But I think majority of my theater background comes from being in show choir, because you get to be goofy and stuff. And then in my language arts classes, I would always be the reader. So when we read Of Mice and Men, I was the narrator. When we read Beowulf, I would read that ancient English, not even ancient, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Old English.
Yes.
So that, I think, really played into my different tones and voices. And
Do you have a dream show or a dream role?
I had a feeling you would ask me this, and so I tried to think about it. I couldn't come up with anything, but I will tell you that my favorite musical is Little Shop of Horrors. And so, I mean, any role in that show would be fun. I don't know who I would play, though.
You can hit those high notes like Audrey, right?
Yeah. When I use my head voice, if you will. So that could be fun.
Well, since we touched on this earlier, what is your method for memorizing lines? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been having Andre read as Captain. And I think I told you guys this at rehearsal the other day, that he'll point out...
He's not a very compassionate captain.
Well, he points out everything that I say wrong. And I'm like, if I add one little word, that's not wrong.
Yeah.
I can... And that's his science brain.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And that's my
creative brain.
So that's helping me, though, because it's just good to have back and forth. I tried doing where I just recorded Joshua.
Did it work?
Yeah, as the captain. Joshua's the captain, those of you who are listening who may not know. And I went to play it back, and I try to do my lines between his, but it just doesn't feel right.
Okay.
So that has not been working. Definitely practicing with people, and I write down my lines as well.
That's
in
what
a journal.
Candy does. Did she tell you about that method, or did you just do it on your own?
No, I just did it on my own.
Okay.
So
Yeah. She's really good at that. So the next question was, do you suffer, which I'm pretty sure you do, because you've said this already, from stage nerves, and how do you combat them?
I think more of my nerves are when there's less people watching,
Okay.
because I feel like I can feel them criticizing my every move. For example, when we were first doing the Sound of Music song, and I'm on stage alone, the nun choir was all there, and I'm like, these women have beautiful voices, these women are experienced, this is my first show outside of high school. I mean, I was very intimidated, and they don't make me feel that way at all, but it's my own insecurity coming out.
Right.
So I'm up there, and I'm like, I feel silly, and I hope they're not judging my voice because I haven't warmed up. And I think that's when I'm most insecure, is when there's
It's a small group.
and people who I really admire and respect their point of view. When the lights are off and it's just me, I mean, I had a lot of solos in high school in choir. And those nights, I kind of got like the nervous butterflies right before. But once I was up there, I was just like, this is amazing. You know, and then the people clap and it's fun.
So it's mostly rehearsals make you more nervous than performances.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see November 29th.
For me, I'm more nervous at performances than rehearsals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, much, much more.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be fine. I'm positive.
Thank you.
I'm positive. If you could wave a magic wand and change any one thing about the theater industry as a whole, what would you change? Not us specifically, but just like theater as a whole.
Oh, well, I'll go into a difficult topic of sexism.
Okay.
My friends definitely know, and even my students and my family know how I feel about, I'm a very strong feminist, and I hate to see sexism in any job, but since theater and movies and everything like that is in the media all the time.
And what is your definition of it in the theater capacity?
Where I see it is women being taken advantage of and not being respected as much, especially women of color. And I'm really grateful that lately with the reward shows and stuff, there's really been recognition with women of color. But in the past, it was just overlooked. And it's like, are you blind? There's so much talent. So much. And I'm so grateful that things are starting to change.
Is there anyone that you look up to as a writer?
I really like Willa Cather.
I don't know who that is. Tell me who that is.
So she wrote a lot in the early 1900s, and I had a college professor, Dr. Johannes, who's retired now from U of L, but she taught Willa Cather. There was a whole class dedicated to her, and she taught her poetry and her short stories. Song of the Lark, it's based on a painting, and the way she just uses language and figurative language, and she's just a beautiful writer. And she, for the early 1900s, she was very progressive, and that's pretty cool in my eyes. During her time of writing, a lot of female writers used pseudonyms because they wanted their works to be bought, and if you weren't a man, it may not have been bought or respected. So she was like, no, I'm Willa Cather, and I'm going to use my name.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and we did a lot of research on her poetry, and I'm nerdy in the sense that I love to dissect poems and figure out the deeper meaning, and so I had a lot of fun with that.
I admire that. I want to be that kind of person, but a lot of times the poetry, I'll try to understand it and read it, and I want to, and I just...
Well, I can teach you a method that I teach my kids.
Yes, please do. We'll do that off mic. But yeah, I want to be able to be better at that.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
I got you.
Okay, we're going to move on now to Sound of Music specific questions. So why did you want to be a part of this production?
Well, someone who you've worked with a lot, Miss Candy Thomas.
Candy!
Hi. We work together. And I talked to her a lot about theater because when she first introduced herself last year, when she came to our school, she said, and I love acting. It's my hobby. So I was like, ooh, I've always wanted to get back on a stage. So I'll talk to her about that. And she told me about all the different local theaters. And I was like, ooh, the Theatre Downstream is so close to my house.
It's super local.
And being someone who is a full-time mom, full-time teacher, full-time wife.
Right, because you do reside in Henry County.
Yes. So we live in Henry County, and I was just curious one day this summer, and we were on our way back from Maine, and I was bored in the car, so I looked up, I wonder if there's any auditions coming up. And then lo and behold, Sound of Music. So I say, Andre, oh my gosh, they're going to do Sound of Music at the Theatre Downstream. And he said, go audition. I'm like, really? What if I get like a tree or something, a part like that, which I'll be grateful for. But what if I get a part and I'm going to have to go to rehearsals? You're going to have to help with Benny. I mean, he does anyway. He was so supportive.
Oh,
and that's when I was like,
I love that.
Yeah, because he could tell I've been in a funk. And because I felt like I didn't really have hobbies or things that were for me. And he was so supportive of it. So I thought, I'll go. And I asked some of my friends, what songs should I do for audition? And they gave me suggestions. And I just came and thought, how cool would it be to just be in the party scene or be a tree or be a rock? Like, I'll be happy with anything just to be back on stage.
I'm gonna wear a gray bag on my head.
Yes. And I went and got called back and was so excited. I cried.
Oh.
I did.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Especially when Charla said, so we're going to call you back and we'd like to hear you as a few roles, including Maria. And I was like, what? We were having an event at the barn, and I ran out of the kitchen of the barn space, and I was like, I got called back. They want me to read as Maria. And my mother-in-law, who loves this show,
yes,
because her mom raised her on this show, which I'll tell you a cute story about later, she was crying. Like, she was so excited for me.
I love hearing the other side of the stories, you know, because we've got our side where we make the decisions and we're like, okay, who are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it's so validating for us to hear the other side and to hear how much it means to the people that we call and maybe take a risk on, because, you know, you hadn't acted for us before, and just to say, I just have this feeling, this is her. You just have a feeling when you see the person, you're like, this is her.
Well, and the more I get to know Maria, if you will, I'm like, we are kind of similar. When I am up there with the kids, I feel so normal.
Yeah.
Like,
you're very comfortable with them.
I love the kids. I'm like, you are my family now.
Yes, it's very sweet. What do you feel like is the most maybe intimidating part of bringing this iconic movie musical to the stage, or being cast in this like beloved role? Is there any intimidation that goes with it? Are you just excited, or what's the feelings involved in it?
I hope that I can portray her in a way that the community feels I did her justice.
Yeah.
Because I'm not Julie Andrews. I
Right.
mean, no one can be Julie Andrews.
No.
So I don't want them to come in comparing me to her.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I want them to feel reminiscent of her. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she is sweet and caring and but a little feisty.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, that is me. And Andre could tell you that.
Yeah.
The most intimidating part is, and I've brought it up before, is the iconic song, The Sound of Music. I mean, I just feel if I do something wrong or whatever and don't live up to the mountain scene where she twirls.
Well, you could also have to remember you're not outside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we were redoing the movie, yes, there is a whole lot of that. But there's not, I would think the intimidation should be lesser because
Yeah.
there's not the sweeping mountainscape. It's a little
Yeah.
smaller scale, so maybe the intimidation could be smaller scale too.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a little rock.
And I can do, I love my little rock. Brian showed it to me tonight.
He's very sweet. He's a sweet little rock.
I think I'll do my own version of the song and do it justice. And
I think
hope.
as long as you sing it with the same authenticity,
Yeah.
and you feel it, that's all we ask.
Yeah.
Is don't do it like Julie, do it like you.
Well,
and
when
feel
I
it.
was singing the last line, the first time we did it on stage, it was the day after our dog died. And when I sang and I'll sing once more, I was like, oh, I'm going to like get teared up again. But it was like, I've been so sad, but I'll sing once more. That's when I felt it. And I was like, oh, I hope I don't think of Nelson on opening night when I'm singing. But it's real.
It's real. And if
So.
you do, use it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my best advice. Anytime you can summon authentic emotion,
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
fight it. If you cry, use it. Lean into it and make it that kind of a song.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that way every night. You won't do it every night. Some nights you
No.
won't cry. Maybe one night you will. Maybe you'll have opening night. It'll just happen. You'll be
Yeah.
emotional. Just lean into it.
Yeah.
You've got time to recover.
Because I will miss the mountains.
Yes.
And Nelson.
Yes. But don't be afraid of it. What are you looking forward to the most about being able to play this character?
I've touched on this before, but I love being on stage with such talented youth
Yeah.
and being that motherly role because I am a mom. So I think I can bring that authentically to the stage.
I do think your scenes with the kids are very natural. They're very fun, especially the Do Re Mi scene.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. And the scene on the bed,
Yeah.
it's very fun.
It's so fun. I love it.
So what's something that people may not know about the real Maria that you've discovered? That's not on my list. I just want to know.
Ooh. Well, I mean, people don't realize how much younger she really was.
How much younger was she? I don't know.
I don't know the exact. At least 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
One thing I thought was interesting, an article that I read said that she was the driving force behind the Von Trapp family singers.
Oh, yeah.
And also that, according to her, she fell in love with the children at first sight, and she fell in love with the captain over time.
I think that happens a lot in real life to
When he
people.
proposed, she didn't accept for him, she accepted for the kids.
Aw.
And they had 3 kids together after they got married.
Yeah, that's the thing I read that I didn't know. That they continued to have children together. So, man, would that have been 10 total?
Yes.
Oof.
Yes. And they, all of them, they changed all their names and they changed some of their
Yes.
genders,
Yeah.
which maybe it was to protect the kids. I'm not sure because they didn't change their names, but they changed the kids. And the one that would be equal to Gretel, I think, died in childbirth. So she was in her 30s, but everyone else lived to be in their 80s or 90s of the children, and their 3 children are still living, I do
Wow.
believe. Yeah. So that was just a Google search I did.
If you're listening, Von Trapp children, come see our show.
Yes,
That would be so cool.
That would be very cool. But don't tell us beforehand because I'm pretty
No.
sure your nerves would not handle
No.
it. You can tell me, but don't tell her.
Then I definitely would cry in the
Yes.
opening scene.
I would tell you afterwards. Like, by the way, they were here. What do you love about Maria, and what is the easiest or hardest part to identify with?
I love that Maria is genuine. And I love that in scenes where she is happy for Frau Schrader and the captain, she actually is happy for them. I know I would be like jealous and rude and a little catty, you
But
know.
she's not like that.
No. And what's really cool about Frau Schrader in our production is she's not catty and rude.
That's one of my things I'm going to talk about. Yep.
I think that's very admirable because I know I would not be like that.
So what's the hardest part to identify with about Maria?
Wanting to be a nun. No, thank you.
How would you have felt about the captain if it was you? If Emma met the captain, how would you feel about him?
I don't think I would have ever fallen in love with Captain. I don't like super serious. I don't like cocky. I can't stand cocky. Oh my goodness. If you are a conceited person, male or female, I can't
No time.
vibe with you.
Yeah.
No, I don't vibe with people like that. So I would have been really turned off. I don't think real Captain used whistles. Maybe he did. I didn't read that. But I mean, the whistle thing, come on. These are your kids. Say
Yeah.
their names. I get it's a large estate. But that would have been like, no.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you, Reverend Captain. What is your favorite song from The Sound of Music?
I love The Lonely Goat Herd.
I like that one too.
I love The Lonely Goat Herd. I love yodeling.
That's one of my questions later.
I need to quit answering your questions.
No,
I have
it's
ESP.
good.
One thing you didn't know about me, I have ESP.
Just with me specifically.
Actually, my mom and I legit, if ESP were real, I don't know if it is or not, we will text each other at the same exact time about the same exact thing, not knowing what each other was going to say.
I don't know. You've only listened to a couple of them, but I'm totally on board with all the supernatural. I think we live in a supernatural world
It's unexplainable.
Yes.
And she'll call me and I'll be like, Mom, I was picking up my phone to call you. And she'll say things that I'm like, I was thinking about that earlier today.
I call it synchronicity.
Yes.
I love synchronicity. Okay, back to Sound of Music. Do you have a favorite line from The Sound of Music?
I love when Gretel says, I don't know the exact line, but it's, my finger hurts. Or,
I've got a sore finger.
I've got a sore finger.
She's so cute.
It's so cute. And Marta is so cute as well.
Yes.
And their little voices just make me smile, and they're going to make the audience just melt.
They're hard workers too.
Yes.
That's a lot of hard stuff they're doing. Memorizing the dance moves and the singing, especially in Do Re Mi.
Yes.
Those-
I don't even know which side I'm on half the time, and they know.
Gretel starts it. She's the one that goes do, and I'm like, girl, you are on it every
Yes.
time. You are so good at this.
And I couldn't believe for 6 and 7 how professional they are.
Yes.
They sit and they listen.
I think Gretel is 7 because I asked her.
Oh, are
mom.
they? Okay.
I think they're both 7.
Oh.
I thought she was 6 as well.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed. Very impressed with those little guys. And all the Von Trapp kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite rehearsal moment so far?
There's so many. I've just loved this whole experience.
I'm so glad.
So, the day we were at the middle school, I had a total Jimmy Fallon moment.
What'd you
and then
do?
it just made everybody have a Jimmy Fallon moment. So, Captain, we're at the performance scene, and Captain is singing Edelweiss by himself, and he starts to get choked up, and he looks back at us, and his face was just, it was so funny at the moment, because it was like so serious and sad, like a little puppy, and I just go, and then all the kids did it, and we were all just cracking up, and then I was like, no. So every time we do that scene, we have to like, I'm like nudging the kids, like, don't laugh. We can't laugh.
Poor Captain. He's
I
trying.
know, I
He's
felt-
emoting and everyone's laughing at him.
I felt so bad, but luckily he played it off. He had fun.
He's a good guy. How is our version of the production bringing something new to the story, do you think?
Well, going back to Lonely Goat Herd, I am so relieved we did not have to learn how to be puppeteers. I love the Goat Herd ensemble. I saw a video the other day of the kids practicing because we were in the other room.
Yes.
And how cool that they are live marionettes.
I think it is too.
I love that you guys did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I get to go kind of in the shadows a little bit.
And take a breather?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we had a thunderstorm. Now I'm going to just sing and yodel to you.
Yes.
So it'll be fun.
Okay, it's a long statement, so let me know your opinion at the end.
Okay.
So we have talked a lot during rehearsals about inserting some subtext into the show because it's kind of bare bones on the lines. The way it's written, there's a very quick, extremely quick move of the captain's affections from Elsa to Maria. My opinion is that in our version of the story, unlike the movie, which you've already alluded to this, Elsa is not the wrong choice for the captain. She's just not the right choice. So do you think that it helps or hurts the story to have Elsa?
I honestly have toyed with this in my mind a lot, thinking, oh my goodness, Elsa needs to be catty and rude because I'm worried that everyone's going to love her. But it's fine. I mean, that's just my version in my head of there has to be a stronger reason for Captain to not love her. But I fully agree that she's a good choice. She's just not the right choice.
I feel like it's sort of like that movie Sweet Home Alabama. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Patrick Dempsey was
a fabulous choice.
a fabulous choice.
Dr. Dreamy.
Yes, he just wasn't the right choice.
Yeah.
So that kind of to me has kind of inspired this.
Yeah.
Is Elsa's not a bad person in this. She should be likable. She's got funny lines. She's self-assured. She's confident. She's all these good things. And you just kind of want her to go like, Elsa, go run a corporation. Just go be the first female president of something.
You don't need a man who...
You don't need Von Trapp. You don't need the kids.
You got this, girl.
Yes.
And I think Amy does an awesome job of playing that version.
She does.
Because Amy could not play a mean person.
I don't think so.
She could acting-wise, but... Yeah. As how she is as a person. Like, she is an avid animal lover, too.
Is she?
Yeah. We've had a long discussion about that. So, I'm like, okay, I'm glad she's a nice Elsa.
Doing it this way is more of a true love triangle. Like,
that's a good point.
Who do I pick? Because they're both good choices. Do you listen to your heart or your head? How do you go?
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah. So, why do you think the people should come see The Sound of Music?
There's just so much talent, so much hard work that's being put into the show. Everyone loves and knows the story as they've seen in the movie, but they need to see it on stage and see how it could be done differently. They need to experience local theater if they never have. I mean, when I went to the auditions,
you have not seen any of our shows yet, right?
I have not, and I hate that I haven't, but my in-laws have been to shows.
What did they see?
I know they've seen White Christmas, and they were blown away.
Oh, that's good.
And that's when my mother-in-law was like, yes, you have to audition in her cute South African accent that I can't do. I can do a lot of accents, but South African, despite hearing it all the time.
Is it kind of British?
Kind of British mixed with Australian.
Do they live here, too?
Yeah.
I guess if they saw our show, they would have.
Yeah, they flew in.
They flew in just for us. Woo! They're going to get a poster next time. Who's come the furthest?
I mean, local theater is so important because I was just thinking about this today, how I feel like I have a new family that, I can turn to and talk to. And I've really gotten to know a lot of awesome people through this experience. And I hope to be in more shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to continue being part of that family. And I can't wait to introduce this family to my actual blood-related family, which you guys kind of have met a few of them. So that's awesome.
That's another thing. It's just hearing that stuff is so rewarding to us because that's the kind of environment that we want to foster. We want people to feel like it's a family, but I don't know. I sort of feel like with family, you're kind of stuck with them.
Yeah.
But like a found family or a family that you choose that you want to be around, maybe that kind of family, the good kind of family. So,
Well-
but we do fight and stuff too. So I guess we would be like a regular family.
This has really stuck with me. When we had our read through, the first thing Kevin said was a line from scripture, but then he related it to how we are not going to be rude or judgmental, and we're not going to be jealous, and we're not going to talk down to people or look down on people. And that was a breath of fresh air for me, because I walked in on the read through day, first time seeing people since auditions, worried that people would be upset that I got the part of Maria, especially because I went in not knowing who or what I was going to audition for in the first place. I just really wanted to be a part of the show. And so I was really worried, and him saying that was a breath of fresh air, because I was like, okay, he set the standard.
Yeah.
No one's going to be rude to anyone about what part they got or what part they didn't get, and that was really relieving.
That's part of why we wrote our casting commitment.
Yes.
And it says in there, we don't, and we mean it.
Yeah.
We don't pick just because you're our friends. We pick the best person. We also choose based on your character. So it does matter how much talent you have, but it also balances with what kind of person are you to work with.
Yeah.
So if you are the kind of person that would be jealous and spiteful and angry and say nasty things, even if it's on the sly, we always hear about it. And that informs us. We may go, okay, that person's super talented, but they're not nice.
Yeah.
So do we want to be with that person for the next 2 months?
Yeah.
No, we don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the thing with community theater. We don't have to work with people we don't want to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're moving on to the rapid fires. And I did
Oh, great.
I did a couple that are the generic ones that we always ask, but it's like I told Bree, I was left alone. So and she read them and she was laughing at some of them.
And
so.
also, speaking of Bree, I'm sad that she's not here.
Me too.
Because I loved hearing her giggle in the background of the other
I
podcast.
know.
I'm like, where's my background giggler?
I know. We miss her. She is with her brother. They're doing some kind of band semifinal. So I miss her too, because it feels like whenever she's here and I can be the background person, and then it's fun to have that just third voice. And I thought about buying a third microphone, but I actually like the concept of just the voice in the back.
Yes, I do too. I liked it.
I like the way it sounds. It's like this little disembodied voice is giggling.
I picture the two old men from the Muppets, like, in the background.
Yes. That is, she's very good at doing that. And she's got a very infectious giggle, so you're welcome, Brie. Okay. The rapid fires are just the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, goodness.
If you could choose the next TTD show, what would it be?
We'll just go back to Little Shop of Horrors.
Actually, you're not the first person that has said that. I think Matt Adams said that as well.
Cool.
Yeah. What kind of roles do you prefer? Comedy, drama?
I like being funny and silly, but I also like being very depressed and
Melodramatic.
yeah.
Tell me about a time when you had a really bad day but had to perform that night. How did you get through it?
Ooh, okay, so back to Kiss Me Kate. The guy I had a crush on at the time was supposed to come see my show, and he told me as I was walking into the high school that he wasn't coming.
Oh.
And I remember I went from feeling so excited I get to perform for the dude I have a crush on to just, well, what now?
Yeah, I almost wish that they wouldn't tell you until after.
Yeah, how rude.
Yeah, to say right beforehand. I had a friend do that to me once, like, promise me, I'm going to come see your show on your birthday.
Oh, it was my birthday too.
Yep.
April 1st. I'm a fool's baby.
Oh,
and
are
he
you?
didn't come.
He's a fool.
Yeah.
How did you get through it then? How did you get through your sadness? You just pushed through?
I guess so.
Show must go on.
I talked to my mom. She was always my voice of reason. And I mean, she was right, because he's not the guy I married. So.
Nope. What is the biggest audience you've performed in front of?
I'm trying to think back to all the choirs I've done.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be theater.
Maybe
it can be
my
choir.
college choir, 300-400 people.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so and now the rest of these are in honor of the Sound of Music.
Okay.
In honor of the Sound of Music, what's your worst habit? Get it?
Oh, it took me a while. See, I'm not a nun. My worst habit in real life or in the show?
No, in real life. This is about you in real life.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know what my husband would say. Not picking up my clothes. I'm the person that goes through my closet and doesn't take the 2 seconds to put it back on the hanger. And I'm also the person that'll, like, you know, get in the shower and not put my clothes in the
hamper. You
laundry.
Put them on top of the hamper?
Well, we have a laundry chute.
Oh, do you not even put them down the chute?
Sometimes I kick them next to the chute.
No!
Yeah, I hate myself for admitting that, but I think that's a horrible habit that I have.
That is a terrible habit. You must break it.
Yes.
Okay, if the Hills were alive, what do you think they would say to you?
They would say, "Get over yourself. He's about to propose." You can climb every mountain.
You can do this.
You can do this.
How do you solve a problem?
Like Maria, or just any
Just
problem?
how do you solve a problem? Because I don't know that Maria was a problem. She
No.
just went in the right place.
She wasn't the right one. I think and reflect so much. I mean, when I'm driving, when I'm in the shower, when I, am laying down to go to bed, I'm reflecting. And so if there's a problem, big or small, I think of so many different techniques to try to fix it and not just go with one.
Mm-hmm. So you're not a shoot from the hip?
No, I'm very spontaneous in other ways of life. Like we were talking about traveling earlier. I would love to just go to the airport and go, eeny, meeny, miny, okay, let's go to Tokyo today, if we had that kind of money.
Yeah.
But I like to think of all the different solutions and who would it benefit and who would be hurt and how could we avoid that kind of thing.
That's very mature. That's a good thing. That's a good way to solve a problem.
Good.
What is the one thing you have confidence in?
I have confidence in my people skills. I love working with people of all ages, and if I see a stranger crying in public, I'm that awkward person that goes up to them.
You're very empathetic.
Yeah, I can't. One of my best friends I met in college because she was crying on a bench.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just see so many people walk past and stare, and that just upsets me. So I'm the awkward person that goes up. And even if nothing comes of it, I feel better that I tried.
Yeah, that's what's important. What is a name you call yourself?
I don't really have a nickname for myself, but I have nicknames.
Okay, what's your nickname?
So Andre jokingly calls me Princess, but we all know it's true. No, no, we don't. And then one of my friends calls me Ema because there was a little girl at our school who would call me Ema. And
Instead
so
of Emma?
it stuck. Yeah.
That's cute. How far can you run?
10 feet.
Can you sew?
I really wish I could sew. I am so upset. I was talking with someone about this the other day that my grandmother and my mom sewed my mom's wedding dress together. And of course, I went to David's bridal. And my mom has taught me multiple times how to sew. And I can do basic things, but I can't run a machine. That freaks me out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's hard. I wish I could.
Tea or soda?
Soda for sure. I am one of those Diet Coke fiends.
Oh, it's
and
so
I
bad
have
for you.
I know. I have gotten over the addiction once and then it just spiraled out of control one time and then I just
You fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
Describe yourself in one word when you were 16 going on 17.
Flirtatious.
Oh. What are a few of your favorite things?
My son. He's the favorite.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Andre and my best friends and my family. But things, I love candles. I'm one of those people that could smell a candle in a room and say, oh, that is Yankee Candle's buttercream frosting. Or, oh, you're wearing Bath and Body Works Dark Kiss. That was...
Have you ever thought about being like a scent person?
That actually would be another dream job.
There you go.
Is creating scents. Or I've also thought about being the person who names nail polishes.
Ooh.
Because I can do those puns,
Very fun.
So that'd be cool.
Why do you think the goat herd was lonely if he was surrounded by all those people?
Very important, profound question.
That's the one that made Brie laugh, so we would have had her laughing. Insert Brie laughter.
Yeah, you need to edit Brie in. I think because he just wanted the right love. He wanted the right goat lady.
Can you yodel?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm not like the Walmart yodel boy that went viral. Like you need to watch him. He has skills.
I will have to watch that.
But yeah, I like yodeling.
Tell me something good about you. Be nice to yourself.
I know. Again, loving people, helping people, making others feel confident.
That is something good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite flower?
I actually hate roses. That's like your stereotypical symbol of love, and that's not why I hate them. I hate them because they die so fast.
They sure do.
So then I'm like, cool, thanks for the flowers. 2 days later, dead.
Thanks for the $40 you could have just handed me.
Yeah. So my husband gets me like exotic flowers sent in from California. Like they're not super expensive or anything, but they're unique.
Yeah.
And I like those. But my absolute favorite is orchids. Because my grandmother, who I was super close with, she grew up living with us because she was a widow. She always had orchids. And she taught me how to keep them alive, with a little ice cube once a week. And when she passed away, I took her orchids from her house. And that was my goal, to keep them alive. So
Did you?
For a long time.
Yeah.
But I am horrible with plants.
Oh.
I'm like, thank goodness I don't raise my son how I raise my plants. Because who knows where we'd be right now.
That's bad. This kind of ties back into what you said at the top. Would you like to climb a mountain, ford a stream, or follow a rainbow? You wouldn't like to climb a mountain.
None of the above?
None of the above.
I guess a rainbow.
Follow that rainbow.
Yeah.
If you had to say so long farewell to the life you're living today, where would you go? You get to take your family. So it's like,
okay.
No, you get to climb over that mountain with your family.
Okay.
So where would you guys go? If you had to leave your house like the Von Trapps did, with all that you had was your husband and your child and your guitar, because don't forget that. Where would you go?
I can play a G chord. If we had the money to do it, we would get an RV and we would just go. We would drive and travel all over the country and stop random places and explore. Despite being unathletic, I love nature and I do love hiking. It's just there's certain things that hinder me, like my knee and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would love to hit up all the national parks and all that good stuff.
So we're down to the final 3 questions, which is the same for everybody, so you should know what these are. What is your best advice for other actors?
Be confident in yourself because you were cast for a reason.
Right.
And, if you ever feel insecure, just know that people believe in you no matter what. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I would have for new actors.
Yeah, is to understand that you were cast for a reason.
Yeah, especially because I am kind of a new actress. Like I said, I've mostly done shows with dancing and singing, not so much of the acting part.
What would you tell the 10-year-old version of yourself?
I just did a photo shoot with my best friend, Caitlin, one of my best friends. She's a photographer, and she did a no makeup, natural hair photo shoot. And she asked me the same exact question for her blog. And my biggest advice to my 10-year-old self was, don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to your best self, and then you'll go far.
If you knew that you could not fail, what would you do? What would you choose to do?
Fail in what?
If you knew that anything, if you knew that something you've always wanted to do, you're not going to fail. Anything you put your hand to is going to succeed beyond your wildest imagination. What would you do?
Well, this is a really weird answer, but I would do a cartwheel. Because I've never been able to do a cartwheel, and it makes me sad, and I want to do a cartwheel. I don't have to do other flips.
You're really low barring that, though.
But that's realistic. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So
After your cartwheel, what would you do with your life? You don't have to be a teacher unless you just really want to.
So
Your sanctuary? Would you do your sanctuary?
yeah, I think so.
That's all I have. You have anything else you want to say?
No, but I'm really grateful for this opportunity. My family, my friends have seen a new life in me.
Yeah.
And I think I owe it to this opportunity. So thank you for everything, and thank you for having me tonight and getting to know me a little bit, even though there's some weird things that I've said. Keep the weird things. That's what makes people unique. So.
I think so too. I like the weird. I'm weird. I think everybody should embrace their weird a lot sooner than they do.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Emma Faul. Next week, we meet the Captain Von Trapp, played by Joshua Ruette. Very special thanks to the sponsors of The Sound of Music, Eminence McDonald's and United Citizens Bank and Trust. This episode of Getting Real was executive produced, edited, and written by me, Ashley Raymer-Brown.
It was produced and co-written by me, Bree Highshoe.
Music was provided by Final Cut Pro, and artwork was created by Ashley Raymer-Brown. That's me. And Bree Highshoe.
That's me.
Getting Real is a separate entity from the Theatre Downstream. The thoughts and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of the Theatre Downstream or the sponsors of their shows. Thanks for listening. As a special bonus for Emma, who said she was missing Bree's laugh, here is a tiny snippet from episode 13 with Frankie Taylor. Bree had just asked us, "What's your favorite joke?" The last thing that made me laugh was that silly meme.
The last thing that made me laugh.
That silly Frodo Baggins meme. Where they I didn't even know what this whole catastrophe was until last night. And then it says, after I watched 300,000 people get melted by the government for storming Area 51, it's a picture of Frodo. All right, keep your secrets.
It's so funny. Hold on, I have it.
His face. And that caption is just like, all right.
Keep this. I love that so. All right, keep it.